Good morning to you in the studio and our viewers of Morning at NTV show. Corruption is one thing that is slowly eating up this country, and we have interested ourselves in Busoga region, which has been one of the regions mentioned by IGG as a place that has high cases of corruption. And of course, there are a number of issues. Just this week, we did see the Inspectorate of Government arresting 9 officials from Bujiri district and the Chief Administrative Officer of Madiokolo district, who was by then the Chief Administrative Officer of Bujiri district, for allegedly embezzling 1.2 billion shillings meant for paying teachers during COVID-19 financial year, that is 2019-2020. Again on record, last year IGG also arrested officials from Kaliro district for causing financial loss to government of 5.8 billion. And also currently, as I speak, the Senior Education Officer for Jinja City, that is Madam Mutesi, is on interdiction over issues of UPE grants. However, I'm not going to preempt all this alone. We have seen a number of cases that IGG is investigating, and this morning I'm delighted to be joined by the IGG Regional Manager for Jinja, that is Mr. Oketch Frederick. First of all, I want to understand, let him bring us to speed. Mr. Frederick, you're most welcome to Morning at NTV show.
Thank you, my brother.
We're speaking about corruption. Uganda is one of the places that is still grappling to fight issues of corruption, and it is still also recovering back from the COVID-19 effect. Let's come back to Busoga. We saw you arresting 10 people this week, 10 senior government officials this week. When we talk about corruption, what is the stand in Busoga region?
Thank you, Rachel. Just like you said, you saw us arrest, and it was everywhere in the media. These guys had stolen government money which was meant to pay salaries to teachers, specifically during the COVID time. So when I speak about matters of corruption, I think in Busoga is a cancer, that it has penetrated every little nerve in the systems of Busoga region. I have been to other regions, but in Busoga people still with impunity. I actually can't explain the background to this. Yesterday I was actually interacting with the driver, and he was telling me someone asked him for 6 million shillings to get a job of a driver. So right from when people are entering into service in Busoga, they pay for it. And after they've paid for it, for them to sustain their lifestyle, they have to steal to recover whatever loot that they used to buy these jobs. Now, I think right from the service commission, the LOC 5 chairpersons, the executive that nominate members of service commissions, they should begin by looking for people with integrity. Because if I came and joined government through a stolen way, as I would call in quotes, because you ideally know you are not the best candidate, there are very many good candidates out there with integrity, but because you could afford to pay for the job, you are given a job that you don't deserve. Now, when you come in, you have to sustain that. So they come in, and in 1 year, someone wants to recover maybe his 10 million that he paid. He also wants to buy land and build. He wants to drive a car. For those who are not married, they want to marry. So corruption just becomes part of their lifestyle. Now, other than recruitment issues, another thing that we see in Busoga as prevalent in every district that we have visited is the issue of the payroll. For instance, in Bugwe, the whole of last financial year, people who retired, not one was paid. The pensioners. Not one was paid his gratuity. Why? The government sent the money, but not a single person who retired last financial year was paid his gratuity. And you know, when these people retire, they retire with all sorts of ailments. Someone needs to go to hospital, someone needs to sustain his life, but cannot afford it because somewhere in the district he's either failing to do his work or is waiting to be compromised. So the payroll fraud is in every little district in Busoga. And like I told you the other day, we are going to treat it with the urgency it deserves. People have worked. Even when someone works in your garden, he comes expecting to be paid at the end of the day. You don't expect a teacher who has been in class for 8 months without salary to deliver. You don't expect a medical doctor, a midwife in the hospital, to deliver when the person has gone for 4 months without salary. Yet the money is there. Wage bill is one of the components of finances that the government releases on time and on a very regular basis. Now, Jinja specifically, we have the issue of land. Recently, we visited a place where someone was creating land in the middle of a road. He wants to join the two plots and is blocking a public road. You have had cases of land grabbing. All these primary schools, Spire Road had issues of land, Masese had issues of land. So they have made it a trend. You know, land is the easiest thing to sell. And land in Jinja is very, very lucrative. So they have created plots in this government former public land, and they are selling it for their selfish gains. If government did not need these pieces of land, government has procedures of disposing of its properties. But that is not what they are doing. They are practically stealing. We are conducting investigations. I can tell you, we have one public officer, I may not reveal to you, who has over 20 plots in the middle of the city. He's not the highest ranking public officer. These are very strategic pieces of land. At the right time, I know again I will brief you about it when we are done with the investigations, but it is not normal that a public officer at the salary scale of maybe U4 should own 20 plots of land in the middle of Jinja city. Local revenue is also one of the key issues. I am glad that the source of the Nile is being redeveloped, but we have received so many complaints. If you see along most of our towns here, buildings are coming up every day. They are supposed to pay building plans. But if you went to a municipality like Eganga, for example, and they declare to you the local revenue they collect from building plans, you will laugh at it. Because this would be free money that would be used to deliver services to the community. So like I told you, stealing, corruption has become a lifestyle in Busoga. And it's you who fights it, who is seen as the enemy of the people, the enemy of the progress of stealing. But that will not scare us. We have resolved to clean up Busoga. And I know with you people, with the public support, it shall definitely come to pass. We shall clean it.
Maybe my last question is, this has been from the public, and of course I'll pose this question to you. It might be, it might sound as if it is beyond your capacity, but you'll have to give us some highlight. One of the issues that has been raised by the public is that we are currently seeing corruption cases, allegation of money being swindled in the executive and also the legislative arm of the government in the country. Recently or currently, the current debate that is going on, though unverified information yet, is about members of parliament taking 50 million. And also last year, the debate that has been in the country has been the issues of the Karamoja relief, the Mabati issues. We saw the Inspectorate of Government, of course, coming in. We had a number of ministers who were actually involved in this saga, but a few of them have been implicated, with the Minister for Karamoja being on the forefront. People are asking, why is IGG moving more to the small fish and leaving the bigger fish in the country?
I like that description of the big fish, but it's subjective. What may be big in the description of a local government is not necessarily a big fish the other side. But that aside, the law empowers us. There's no one above the law in this country. Now, regarding the issues of parliament, for fear of not wanting to appear to contradict my boss or everything, the IGG gave a very detailed brief on this investigation. It has started. Now, one thing I want to ask the public is to be calm. Investigation is a process. We need to fight corruption because it's the biggest threat to our democracy.
Okay, thank you so much. Of course, our time is fast being spent. I will let it remain here, and of course, we shall presume with this discussion as the Inspectorate of Government continues with the investigation in Busoga region. Now here we're speaking about a region that was recently named by Uganda Bureau of Statistics as being one of the regions which is having the highest rate of poverty. And back to the country, we're speaking about a country that has been ranked 141 out of 180 countries as far as the issue of corruption is concerned. And this was a recent statistics of the Corruption Perception Index, or the Transparency Corruption Perception Index in Africa. And of course, when you look at Uganda, it is still coming back from the COVID-19 impact. And we're seeing these cases with the common issue currently on ground, the issues of course, the legislators, unverified information of legislators taking 50 million from, of course, the corridors of parliament. These are issues that have brought a lot of debate, and of course we pray that as we fight for this particular issues to be handled by the different legal arms of government, we pray that at least justice prevails to ensure that at least we have value for the taxes that we pay. And of course, the 10 people who were arrested over the week will be appearing before court again this afternoon to take on their plea. 10 people appearing before the anti-corruption court today, which is Thursday. Back to you in the studio as you continue with the show.